I found the photo by accident. One slip. One wrong swipe. Her smile, his hand. Frozen in a moment that shattered everything I thought was real. I didn't cry. Because if they wanted to play dirty, they had no idea just how far I was willing to go. I spent days crafting my revenge, every word, every picture, every filthy secret. Wrapped it up in a neat little package and sent it straight to the people who trusted her most. I thought the betrayal would break me. Instead, it turned me into someone they never saw coming. And the best part? The real explosion hadn't even started yet. If you had asked me 6 months ago where my life was headed, I would have said something stupid like, settling down soon. Back then, it felt real. Me, Carly, a little apartment we made feel like home. Dinners where she'd curl her feet up on the couch while I cooked. Sunday mornings buried under blankets, lazy and slow. We had our routines. Our inside jokes. A couple framed photos stuck to the fridge door, cheap magnet frames we bought on a random Target run. I loved that crap. I loved her. I'm not the poetic type, not the kind of guy who writes love letters or posts about his queen online. But with Carly, it felt different. Easy. I was already saving for the ring. Not officially, not something we ever sat down and mapped out, but every time I looked at her, I knew. She was it. Or at least, I thought she was. The first crack, the one I refused to see at the time, showed up on a random Thursday night in June. We were supposed to meet up at my cousin Ryan's place, nothing big, just a few of us watching the game, beers, pizza. Normal. I came home from work, still wearing my boots, dust trailing across the kitchen floor, and found her curled up on the couch, scrolling mindlessly through her phone. "Hey, babe," I said, dropping my keys into the bowl by the door. "You ready?" She barely looked up. I'm kinda tired. You go without me." I remember the weird little twinge I felt, a gut pull, nothing big, nothing I could call a red flag. Just, off. "You sure?" "Ryan's been asking about you," I said, trying to keep it light. "I'm sure," she mumbled, flicking her thumb across the screen. "Tell him I said hi." I leaned in, kissed her forehead. She didn't even tilt her head up like she usually did. But I shrugged it off. We all have off days, right? When I got to Ryan's place, he was already half a six-pack deep, laughing too loud at nothing. "Where's Carly?" he asked, tossing me a beer. "Not feeling great," I said. Ryan just nodded and changed the subject. Nothing weird. Nothing suspicious. Except, maybe there was. There was this flicker across his face, this quick, almost imperceptible shift, before he forced a laugh and cracked open another beer. I saw it. I registered it. And like a dumbass, I buried it. Because Ryan's my cousin. We grew up together, trading Game Boys and stealing beers from our uncle's coolers. He's the guy who gave me my first real black eye and then stood by me when I lied to our moms about falling off my bike. He was family in the way that meant something. And Carly? She was home. The two people I trusted most in the world. The two people I would have bet my life on. The summer rolled on. Hot nights, beers on the balcony, lazy Sunday brunches. But little things kept piling up. Tiny shifts. Carly started spending more time working late. Her phone, which used to lie face up on the coffee table, was suddenly always clutched in her hand or tucked away in her bag. When I walked into a room, sometimes she'd swipe out of an app so fast I'd only catch the blur of a screen. Messages she said were from coworkers. Work drama, she called it, rolling her eyes, making it sound so exhausting. I wanted to believe her. God, I needed to believe her. And then there was Ryan. Always lingering a little too close at family BBQs. Always quick to ask, "Where's Carly?" if she wasn't around. Always ready with some stupid joke she'd laugh at a little too hard. Again, small stuff. Nothing you could hang a noose on. But enough that some nights, when I couldn't sleep, I'd lie there staring at the ceiling, feeling this low, gnawing unease eating away at my gut. Maybe it was me. Maybe I was getting paranoid. Maybe I was just stressed from work. That's what I told myself. That's what I needed to believe. Because the alternative was unthinkable. You don't build a life with someone and then start doubting every time they smile. You don't grow up calling someone your brother and then start wondering if he's the one handing you the knife. The night everything started to unravel wasn't anything special. No big blowout. No screaming matches. Just a simple question. One that popped into my head while we were driving home from my mom's birthday dinner. I asked Carly, half joking, "Hey, didn't Ryan say he was going up north this weekend? For that fishing thing? She blinked at me, paused too long. Yeah. I think so. But her voice lifted at the end, turning it into a question, like she wasn't sure. That didn't make sense. She and Ryan had been talking all through dinner, laughing about something dumb only the two of them seemed to get. How could she not know? I glanced at her from the corner of my eye, watched the way she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, a nervous tic I'd seen 100 times before when she lied about stupid things. Like eating the last cookie. Or ordering another pair of shoes online. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. Smiled. Played it off. Changed the subject. But something deep inside me twisted, broke free, and started screaming. I didn't go looking for anything that night. Not really. After we got home from my mom's party, Carly went straight to the shower. I sat there on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor, feeling like my body was full of static. My hands moved on their own, picking up her phone off the nightstand. It wasn't locked. She always said she had nothing to hide. I didn't even know what I was expecting to find. Maybe some dumb Pinterest recipes or makeup tutorials. Something boring. Something normal. Instead, what I found was a text. Not a long one. Not even particularly suspicious, if you didn't know what you were looking for. It was from Ryan. You looked amazing tonight. Couldn't stop staring. Just sitting there. No emojis. No inside jokes. Flat. Direct. I read it 3 times before my brain could even process it. My first thought, the stupidest one, was maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's some dumb cousin teasing thing. Maybe Ryan's drunk. Maybe. I heard the water turn off. Carly's voice floated down the hall, singing some pop song off-key. I set the phone back exactly how I found it. Sat there breathing hard through my nose, trying to beat back the pounding in my ears. When she came into the room wrapped in a towel, smiling, asking if I wanted to watch something before bed, I nodded like nothing was wrong. I kissed her forehead when she leaned in, even though every cell in my body recoiled. Because I didn't want to believe it yet. I wasn't ready for the world to shift under my feet. Not yet. The next few days, I watched. Quietly. Carefully. I didn't say anything when Carly spent 45 minutes at Walgreens, and came back without a single shopping bag. I didn't say anything when she swore she had a late meeting and I drove past her office building, seeing every single light off inside. I didn't say anything when Ryan started dodging me. Not big things, just little deflections. Can't hang this weekend, bro swamped. This is a guy who once drove 4 hours to help me patch a leaking roof at 2 a.m. Now he couldn't be bothered to grab a beer. And Carly? She started laughing less around me. Her phone buzzed late at night, and she'd turn its screen down so fast you'd think it burned her hand. I wasn't stupid. But I wasn't reckless either. If I was going to confront this, if I was going to burn my entire goddamn life down, I needed more than one bad text. I needed proof. The trap was almost too easy to set. That Friday, I told Carly I had to work late. Pulled the old, overtime emergency line she used to feed me. Kissed her goodbye at the door, keys jingling loud enough to sound convincing. Then I drove 2 blocks over, parked, and waited. Lights off. Engine off. Sitting in the dark, heart hammering against my ribs so loud I was sure somebody could hear it. I stared at the apartment windows for what felt like hours. Nothing. Maybe she wasn't going anywhere. Maybe I really was losing my mind. And then, around 8:45 p.m., the front door swung open. Carly stepped out. Dressed casually, ripped jeans, that loose green sweater I always said made her eyes look electric. She looked around the street once, cautious. Then she walked toward the corner, phone pressed to her ear. 2 minutes later, Ryan's car pulled up. She slid into the passenger seat like it was the most natural thing in the world. No hesitation. No second look. Gone. I didn't follow them. I didn't need to. I sat there, staring at the empty street, feeling the nausea rise in my throat. The truth, raw and brutal, slammed into me like a freight train. It wasn't a drunken mistake. It wasn't a one-off. This was planned. Routine. There are a million words you could use to describe what I felt in that moment. Rage. Betrayal. Humiliation. But honestly, I just felt hollow. Like someone had scooped me out from the inside and left the shell standing. Later that night, Carly came home whistling. Whistling. She kissed my cheek, called me babe, asked if I wanted to order Chinese. I mumbled something about being tired. She smiled, slipped into the bathroom, and started brushing her teeth. I sat there on the couch, staring at the blank TV screen, feeling something cold and sharp settle into my chest. Not sadness. Not rage. Resolve. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to throw things or beg for answers. No. If they wanted to build their little secret world together, fine. I was going to tear it down piece by piece, carefully, methodically, until all they had left was the wreckage they deserved. And it was going to start with the thing they valued most. Their image. Their precious, squeaky clean, good family image. And I already knew exactly how to do it. I didn't sleep that night. I laid there, eyes wide open, listening to Carly's steady breathing. Every exhale from her mouth felt like a slap. Morning came slow, thick with the kind of humidity that sticks to your skin. She left early, kissing my cheek like nothing was wrong. I sat there afterward, staring at the front door, feeling something inside me calcify. I needed proof, not just for me, for everybody. Because when this went down, I wasn't going to leave room for any excuses. It was easier than I thought it would be. Her laptop was on the kitchen counter. Unlocked, wide open. I told myself I'd just check her messages. One quick look. The first thing that popped up was her email. Not work stuff, no, it was some stupid shared Google Drive between her and Ryan. Vacation photos. Private memes. Screenshots of texts. Some of it was harmless. Inside jokes about family stuff. Photos from old BBQs. But then there were the others. Pictures of them together. In cars. At a hotel room with that ugly paisley carpet I recognized from the cheap place out by the highway. One selfie, Ryan's hand clearly resting on her thigh under the table at my damn mom's birthday dinner. Captioned, "If only they knew." I slammed the laptop shut so hard I thought I cracked it. My chest felt tight, like I couldn't get enough air in my lungs. I stumbled into the bathroom, vomited until my ribs ached. The next 3 days, I moved like a ghost. Smiling when Carly was around, pretending everything was fine. Meanwhile, I was copying everything, screenshots, texts, emails, cataloging it, organizing it, building the case. I made sure every photo, every timestamp, every word, was neatly arranged. No holes. No escape hatches. They didn't just betray me. They mocked me. They thought I'd never see it. They thought I was stupid. The final straw came the night Ryan texted her. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. He'll never know." Except I knew. I knew everything now. I closed the file folder on my laptop, saved it to a thumb drive. And right then, I knew what I had to do. I wasn't going to scream at her. I wasn't going to break things. No. I was going to burn the whole facade down, with one, final, devastating blow. A scrapbook. A gift to her parents. The ones who always treated me like a son, who used to say, "We can't wait until you're officially family." I'd make sure they knew exactly who their daughter really was. No more secrets. No more pretending. If they loved their little, perfect girl so much, they could have her, unedited. I spent the next 2 days crafting it. Not just gathering evidence, that part was easy. No, this had to look right. It had to feel deliberate. I wasn't sending some rage dump to her parents. I was sending them a legacy. Their daughter's true masterpiece. I bought a plain black scrapbook from a craft store. Nothing fancy. No frills. Just matte black pages and a sharp silver marker to label each photo. I printed everything. Screenshots of texts. Selfies of her and Ryan. Receipts from hotel bookings under fake names. Even the cropped bits from Facebook Messenger where she joked about keeping it in the family. Every image, every text, I mounted carefully. Neatly. Precisely. I labeled each one with things like, "Caught in the act, July 14th. Secret vacation, August 3rd. Family loyalty, redefined, September 10th. Page after page after page. No commentary. No rants. No finger pointing. Just evidence. Plain. Ugly. Undeniable. When I was done, I wrapped it in brown paper, tied it with twine like it was a Christmas present. I wrote a short note on a card. Thought you'd want to see what your daughter's been up to. Proud family moments you can cherish forever. No signature. No return address. I dropped it off at their house early Sunday morning, right before sunrise, when I knew no one would be looking. Slipped it into their mailbox. Walked back to my truck without looking back. My hands didn't even shake. It felt surgical. like cutting out a tumor. Carly was still asleep when I got home. Lying there under the covers, looking peaceful. Serene. If you didn't know better, you'd think she was innocent. If you didn't know better, you might believe her when she smiled at you and said she loved you. I sat on the edge of the bed for a long time, just staring at her. At the way she curled her hands under her chin. At the tiny scar above her eyebrow I used to trace with my thumb when we stayed up too late talking about stupid dreams. I wondered if any of it had ever been real. If she ever meant a single goddamn thing she said. Then I stood up, grabbed my pre-packed duffel bag, and left. Left the apartment. Left the life we built. The fallout was nuclear. By noon, my phone was blowing up. First Carly's mom. Then her dad. Then her sister. A series of missed calls, voicemails, text messages piling up like dead leaves. I didn't listen to any of them. Didn't answer. Didn't engage. Not my circus anymore. Not my family. The next time I saw Carly, it was by accident. A week later, at the grocery store of all places. I rounded the corner of the cereal aisle and there she was, standing there in leggings and a hoodie, hair pulled into a messy bun, staring blankly at a box of granola bars. She looked wrecked, like she hadn't slept in days. Eyes puffy, skin blotchy. For one brief second, she looked up and locked eyes with me. And in that split second, all the manipulation, all the guilt she used to weaponize against me, it was gone. There was nothing left of her that could touch me. I walked right past her without saying a word. Didn't slow down. Didn't flinch. She whispered something, maybe my name, maybe an apology, but I didn't turn around to hear it. Later that night, a long email arrived. From Carly. Pages of apologies. Excuses. Rambling explanations about how she didn't mean for it to happen, about how it was a mistake, about how it didn't mean anything with Ryan. At the bottom, a desperate plea. Please. Just meet with me. Just once. I need to explain. I read it exactly once. Deleted it. Blocked her email address. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a choice. I wasn't giving her the satisfaction of thinking she still had access to me. The final nail came from Ryan's side. His mom, my aunt, sent me a message through Facebook. Not even a phone call. Just a cold, formal text. Whatever issues you have with Ryan, we hope you won't hold it against the entire family. What a joke. I left the message on read. Deleted it too. If they wanted to circle the wagons and protect their precious little traitor, fine. They could all rot together. You know what nobody tells you about betrayal? It doesn't destroy you all at once. It leaks into you slow. Day by day. Memory by memory. Little flashes, her hand in yours, Ryan clapping you on the back, all poisoned now. All rotted from the inside out. But the thing is, it stops hurting after a while. You grow scar tissue where trust used to be. Harder, colder, smarter. And you realize, sometimes burning it all down is the kindest thing you can do for yourself.